Good evening and a very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the main news. Let's take a look at our headlines for the evening. High of activity at Mbare as many troop to their rural homes for the holidays. Wholesalers and retailers have assured product availability during the festive season. Another business of rapist dads get lengthy jail terms. Magistrates in 2 cases cited the prevalence of such cases, hence different sentences. And later on in sport, Highlanders' new coach Kelvin Kayindu is set to start from scratch as players' exodus looms at the club. Let's take a look at our leading story this evening. The Mbare bus terminus in Harare was a hive of activity this Tuesday, as many are now trooping to their rural homes for the holidays, with the business for transport operators, vendors, picking up.
It's a few days before Christmas, and while others travel to various holiday destinations, some are traveling to their rural homes for the holidays. A visit to Mbare bus terminus revealed the current state of affairs, with local vendors and transport operators upbeat about the current increase in business.
Especially Tangani Zuro, shiny picture because like Susu. Isusu mabhazi tukwanisa kuwana mari dzekutirara msemuri dzedu.
Vanhu vari kufamba vakawanda. Vari kufamba zisingaite mabhazi ari kubuda akazara.
As the vendors sell their wares and goods and transport operators revel in the brisk business, going on holiday is never an option for them, as this is the peak season to rake in better income.
Kumbako kanzi kombi kanzi $2 ndobata 3. Akweningi yakada mari. Marini yakada. Ngopata katara kusai bozi ni iripo. Yecho kwadi kwete imwe yayo. Aiwa kusiya mari. American dollar azviitisha. Those window 26-27. Mari yapera.
Tiri pabasa tienda after holiday. Maybe zvekuma 2-3.
For some bus drivers, they take pride in traveling on time and being reliable to their customers. Law enforcement agents continue to implore road users to exercise extreme caution on the roads to avoid unnecessary loss of life during the festive season. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
The government says it is working with stakeholders to ensure product availability and market-determined prices to avert any potential market disruptions during the festive season.
Industry and Commerce Minister Dr. Sitembi Sonyoni said they are on the lookout for industry players who may want to trigger supply chain disruptions of basic goods during this festive season, adding that government is satisfied with product availability and normalcy in the market.
We also witnessed and enjoyed a normal supply of basic commodities on the market with no shortages and crises, as previously happened in the yesteryears. We are grateful as a ministry to the business players that joined us this morning, that together we joined hands to take responsibility to ensure that we do not allow price increases, particularly at this point in time when families will be celebrating Christmas and the New Year. Indeed, a time when basic commodities should not be found wanting on our markets.
Chairperson of the Grain Millers Association of Zimbabwe, GMAS, Dr. Tafadza Musarara, concurred with Minister Nyoni, saying there is sufficient wheat and maize stocks for bread and related products, and their members have promised to satisfy the market.
We are thriving on the bumper harvest, on the flour, on wheat, which is assuring bread supplies and all other wheat products nationwide. Maize, we have enough to produce the milling meal that our consumers want. Rice stocks are adequate despite the export ban by India. But we have managed to get alternative sources, and we continue to supply.
Retailers and wholesalers are also geared to save the market and are accepting all currencies.
We had meetings with all the manufacturers and their representatives. They have assured us that they've got adequate stocks to meet the demand that may sometimes be unexpectedly higher than anticipated, but we have actually stocked up and quite ready.
Industry has already entered into its annual shutdown for the year 2023, while the holidays officially start with the Unit Day this Friday, followed by Christmas Day on Monday. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe's tourism industry is singing a joyous tune this festive season with a surge in hotel occupancy levels and activity bookings compared to the 2022 season.
Popular destinations like Victoria Falls, the Eastern Highlands and Kariba are overflowing with mainly eager locals and international visitors seeking a vibrant escape from the year's end routine. The Hospitality Association of Zimbabwe and other tourism players confirmed that they are basking in glory of a near 100% bookings for accommodation and activities.
The traffic is quite encouraging. We are witnessing some inquiries still coming through, people inquiring, still planning, and but the take-up of room occupancy is also very good. And from the indications, I think for the prime festive days, which is 24, 25, 26, most properties are going to be full in terms of occupancy.
Things have picked up and numbers have been quite impressive. We are very pleased. So all that has really picked up this festive season. We're doing far much better than it did last year. So yes, and what is more impressive is that we've got more domestic travelers visiting us, and that has been very, very impressive.
This festive season's tourism boom is a breath of fresh air for the Southern African country's economy, creating jobs and injecting much-needed revenue into the industry. With continued effort to improve infrastructure, diversify offerings and promote Zimbabwe as a unique destination, the future of tourism in the country looks bright. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Families that lost their loved ones in a road traffic accident that claimed 9 lives in Mazoe on Monday are still struggling to come to terms with the tragedy, saying it has become the worst festive season for them.
Mr. Edson Kapinga can't believe that he has lost a daughter, son-in-law and 4 grandchildren in a road traffic accident that occurred at Mazoe Citrus along the Harare-Bindura Highway this Monday. More painful to him and other relatives of the accident victims is that their loved ones were burnt following the head-on collision that involved 2 Honda-Fit vehicles.
Vese vakaita tsaona pamazoina pamwe chete nomukwasha wacho vese vafira panzvimbo kuratidza kuti vese vakadaro 6 vangofa vese ka1.
Ndine mukomana anonzi Promise Makupa aidhiraivha Honda Fit yakabatira moto yaiva nevakomana anokwana kuita 5. ndisingazivi kuti papa ine musikana 1 here wandiri kunzwa kudaro pavanhu 3 ndio vakatsva.
Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, this Tuesday visited the accident scene and Concession Hospital where the deceased and some of the injured were taken to following the accident.
Firstly, as the Minister of State, my condolences to the families who lost members here. It's very painful and sad to lose 9 lives at once. Against that background, we have made some effort to make sure that they get state-assisted burial for those deceased ones. The challenge here is like to identify those who were burned beyond recognition.
The deceased will receive state-assisted burials.
As a government, we did not take that lightly. We are here to assure the families of the bereaved that the government, through His Excellency, they are going to be given a state-assisted funeral. And this is to show that the government is in solidarity with the families following their loss of their beloved ones.
The road traffic accident occurred when two Honda-Fit vehicles, one with 5 people, and going to Glendale, and another with 8 people heading towards Harare, collided head-on.
Stakeholders in road traffic sector, including traditional leaders, converged at Marondera bus terminus this Tuesday with the need to ensure...
Council has joined hands with the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe for a traffic safety awareness campaign to reduce road carnage this festive season.
Nzvimbo dzedu dzinogona kunge dzarasikira wabiani wedu hama dzedu dzese dzinoda kuti tizodzichenura takabatana nehurumende dzingave motikari pachivanhu pachishona tinoti nzvimbo idzodzo dzinoda kuzochenurwa dzisare dzakanaka. Ishuwiro yedu kuti Krismasi ino dai yaita iyo inozonyorwa pasi kuti njodzi dzanga dzakadzikira kudarika makore ese. Ende tinoziva kuti zvinokwanisika kana tikashanda pamwe chete. Imi mese muchaseenzesa migwagwa. Iyambiro yangu kwamuri kuti chengetedzai upenyu hwevanhu. Vanhu havasi masaga, vanhu chaivo handitika pamwe chete nemidziyo yatingati property muchirungu.
Mashonaland East is one of the busiest provinces in terms of road traffic, with 3 major highways including Harare Masvingo Bite Bridge, Harare Mutare and Harare Nyamapanda passing through the province. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Marondera.
Government has introduced a virtual depot distribution strategy for the presidential input scheme. This is meant to improve efficiency in the distribution process.
With a target of over 1 million hectares of crops under Pfumbudza set for this summer cropping season, government has introduced a fast-track strategy to distribute agricultural inputs much to the delight of farmers. The virtual depot distribution strategy will see inputs being distributed directly to farmers, a departure from the past where inputs were taken to grain marketing board depots for onwards distribution to farmers. When it's their turn, beneficiaries are informed in advance to gather for the distribution process.
Fertilizer nembewu zvikakurumidza kusvika tarisai mvura iri kunaya. Kunaya kuri kuita mvura uku varimi vanofanira kunge vane zvinhu zvavo zvakakwana. Saka chirongwa ichocho chinobva chaite kuti kukohwa kwedu kuzokurumidza nekuti varimi vanokurumidza kudyara.
Chirongwa ichi tiri kufara nacho zvakanyanya nekuti pari zvino mainputs mamwe mazuva aimboti but pari zvino akuya direct kwatiri varimi.
In an interview with ZBC News in Harare this Tuesday, Grain Marketing Board Chief Executive Officer Dr. Edson Badarai highlights the scope of the strategy.
The virtual depot distribution strategy entails our suppliers for the presidential inputs moving directly the inputs to the collection points. So suppliers will directly deliver rather than coming through a GMP depot where you would ordinarily have trucks being offloaded and reloaded again, which was double cost.
It also emerged that the GMB is collaborating with the law enforcement agents to curb abuse of the Pfumbudza Intwasa inputs. Government is intensifying climate-proofing agriculture methods to adapt to the ravaging effects of the predicted lean season. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Citizens Coalition for Change Interim Secretary General Sengezo Chabangu has condemned unruly behavior by the party's legislators in parliament, hinting that action will be taken to align them with the dictates of democracy.
The opposition political outfit Citizens Coalition for Change legislators recently disrupted the legislative process in parliament. This behavior has attracted the attention of the party's interim Secretary General, Mr. Sengezo Chabangu, who has threatened to take action against those legislators.
It's uncalled for, and we will be engaging Parliament. We know what is lacking in Parliament is leadership. We will be engaging the Parliament caucus, and I'm sure there are few individuals who need to be really put into line because they believe the parliament is still the fighting space where you can throw stones.
Mr. Chawangu did not rule out further recalls of legislators from parliament, but suggested the need to infuse the old guard and the young generation for a strong opposition political party.
These recalls are not initiated by an individual. They are not initiated by a group of people, but they are initiated by the party collectively. So if the party decides that recalls are no longer serving the purpose, recalls have really answered these issues that we mentioned before and these issues that we continue to raise, then we will be guided by the party.
The CCC party has been rocked by divisions that have manifested in several recalls of legislators and councillors just a few months after the August 23 general elections. Bruce Shawanda, ZBC News, Harare.
Nana Rhoda, will you please tell us the story of how you met Papa?
Since it's Christmas, I will give it to you as a Christmas gift.
Aww. Falling in the pool was the time that I realized I fell in love.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
In the warm embrace of my nurturing mother, I was introduced to her cherished choice of beverage. Through every joy and challenge, it became our go-to. Now that I can make my own choices, I choose to pass on that love to the next generation. I love you, Mom.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Levels Production.
Hello? Wadi? Wada Gupi? Uripi? Inyanga? Uripi? Kariba? Oh, une boys. Uriku Victoria Falls. Ugre Zimbabwe. Chinoi girls. Macho Force. Itori Zimbabwe. Muzimbabwe iri kunaka. Itori Zimbabwe.
This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Zimbo. Every journey leads you home. Uripi. Ungapi.
In the warm embrace of my nurturing mother, I was introduced to her cherished choice of beverage. Through every joy and challenge, it became our go-to. Now that I can make my own choices, I choose to pass on that love to the next generation. I love you, Mom.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Glad to be joined by Natasha Bennett.
ZBC Current Affairs, leading the conversation on local, regional and international news. We bring you the stories that shape the nation and the world, be it social trends, economic and political developments, State of the Nation addresses, independence celebrations, Heroes and Defense Forces Day commemorations, and other national events. We bring them to you as they happen. With an array of informative programming, we bring you face-to-face with the decision makers, as we unpack complex issues, giving you a platform to be part of the conversation. You can choose to face the nation and combat crime while talking farming. But remember to keep your vision 2030 with ZBC Current Affairs. Together, Sonke, Tese, we will track and implement NDS1 to realize a better Zimbabwe.
We've seen that
Welcome back to the main news. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we're aptly joined by Natasha Burnett.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has donated an assortment of groceries to disadvantaged children, inmates and the elderly at various homes in the country's 10 provinces.
It is all joy this festive season for vulnerable groups across the country's 10 provinces, as the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has given them an early Christmas treat following a donation of an assortment of groceries. A philanthropist par excellence, Dr. Mnangagwa has donated food items which include cooking oil, rice, mealie meal, sugar, powdered milk, beans, salt, juice and snacks to children's homes, care homes for the elderly, prisons, rehabilitation centers and the Marondera Female Open Prison. Expressing gratitude for the work being done by caregivers, Amai Mnangagwa pledged commitment to continue uplifting livelihoods of vulnerable groups.
Yakwana zvenguva iya yegore yatinoti yekisimusi. Ndaronga zvinhu zvokuti ndipe mhuri kunze uko vana vedu vandinosipa gore negore. Haikusi kuti ndinopa kamwe chete chete pakupera kwegore, asi vandinofamba navo muupenyu. Ndichiona chikafu chakadai ndakuendesa chikafu kumahomes edu anochengetwa vakwegura, anochengetwa vana nekuma rehabilitation centers. Ndisingakanganwi zvakare Female Open Prison yedu iri kumarondera ese zvawo maprovince vachawana chikafu chavo chekisimusi. Ndichida kutenda zvakare ivo.
She also took time to urge people to drive safely and refrain from drinking and driving during the festive season.
Kune avo vanofamba mumigwagwa nguva ino. Tinoona pane mweya inosimuka kana mweya yakaipa. Unoona munhu achimanya paakadhakwa mumota imomo, full blast radio apa haatarise maview mirrors. Izvozvo zvinokonzeresa njodzi kuvatyairi vemabhazi. Imhuri ngani dzamakataura, imi madzimai evatyairi vemabhazi, itai munamato baba vasati vabuda kuenda kubasa kuti Mwari ndobasa ramakamupa, chimudzikamisai asvitse vanhu kwavanosvika vari vapenyu. Tinoda kuti tisangane mugoredzva takakwana tese tiri vapenyu, tishandire nyika yedu.
Kumbirai Tipedze, who was representing Harare Children's Home, commended Amai Mnangagwa for being a considerate and kind-hearted mother who cares for everyone.
Takatarane Christmas ino vana vachaitirwa zvakanaka. This is not the first time mai vanogara vachititira zvakanaka.
Mutare Probation Hostel, which also benefited from Amai's gesture, expressed appreciation to the First Lady for her benevolence, which will go a long way in improving the welfare of the less privileged this Christmas.
Vakabva mumisha nevamwe vakatobvawo kune mamwe mahomes. Vana ava vamwe vane hama dzisingachatomboui kuzovaona. Tinotenda amai nokuti vanouya vachivarangarira nguva nenguva. Amai havasarudzi, anongoti mwana ndimai vevana, ndigogo vevana, havasarudzi.
Upon receiving the groceries, representatives from Philadelphia Children's Home said they derive a lot of joy and cheer from the First Lady's continued support.
Tinotenda zvikuru kuva pano kuti tigamuchire zvekare zvimwe zvipo zvabva kuna amai. Vana vachafara Christmas ino, vachaguta, aiwa tinopembera zvikuru nerudo rwaamai. Vagara vanotipa zvipo nguva nenguva.
Takangokura tichingowana these special hampers each and every time during Christmas holidays. Even out of festive season, tinongowana zvimwe zvakangosiyana siyana kubva kuna amai, rungu rudo rwavo. Tinenge tisina kuenda kunovakumbira kana kumbovamanikidza, asi nemwoyo wavo vari willing kutibatsira. Rambai makadaro amai, rudo rwenyu tiri kurwuona.
Dr. Mnangagwa, who is also the patron of Angel of Hope Foundation, is spearheading various philanthropic works across the country which have attracted international recognition. A hands-on person, the mother of the nation has always been there to shoulder all the needs of the disadvantaged, including widows, orphans, prisoners, former ladies of the night, the elderly, expecting mothers, and persons with disabilities. The Christmas donation is part of Amai's efforts to ensure everyone has a memorable festive season. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
And now we take it to the courts, where a 59-year-old man from Harare who allegedly raped his daughter several times has been slapped with an effective 20-year jail sentence.
A 59-year-old man who threatened to kill himself in an effort to pacify his daughter, whom he sexually abused, would spend 20 years locked up in prison for the crime. The man would abuse the child whenever he was home alone with her. He told his daughter that if she disclosed the abuse to anyone, he would commit suicide. He was caught red-handed in bed with the child by his second wife. Meanwhile, another man who raped his 4-year-old daughter was given a 15-year jail term. The 24-year-old violated his child in August this year. A neighbor heard the child screaming, and upon being quizzed, the 4-year-old narrated how she was being abused by her father, who at times took baths with her. Both men were convicted after full trials, with the state managing to prove that the two committed the alleged crimes. In passing sentence, magistrates in the two cases noted the prevalence of such cases, hence the need for deterrent sentences. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
We now cross over to Montrose studio, where Marilyn Ngwenya is on standby with more news from that end. Good evening, Marilyn. Over to you.
Good evening, and many thanks to you, Natasha and Farai. And now in our following report, the recently completed DECA pipeline has been identified as the long-term challenges facing Wang communities living adjacent to the water facility.
Communities facing water challenges in Wang, there is anxiety over benefiting from the pipeline, ferrying water from the Zambezi River. Communities around the pipeline believe connecting them to the water facility is the permanent solution to water woes in the area.
Time yakupya ichitaka nsiu manzi mfukaita mbele tima India achita alungisya alatusira manzi
akamizi ezinyengizika ku one jojo tank so one jojo tank leyi ayisanelisi abantu ukuthi bethole amanzi igadi sisicha nendawo zokuswela amanzi.
The initial plan was that the pipeline will be opened at 3 points along its 42-kilometer route to enable communities to get water.
Pipeline initially yakatangisa titiweka takapuwa 3 points yemvura. The 3 points ejo one day opposite from India inoja urambe institution and it then imuyagenda pamashala pane secondary ne primary ne boarding yama girls yopa plus pane clinic imubakwa ne council so vakapuwe vuropa. Besides that iye ma Indian yabamuti vachavapa ijojo tank ye 10,000 ye community yekuti vete mngani my irrigation gardens.
The pipeline passes through several communities in the Chief Wange area, and locals are optimistic. The plan to ensure they access water from the facility will come to fruition. Mhlomo Ngcobe, ZBC News, Wange.
Preparations for the third voluntary national review of sustainable development goals are at an advanced stage. The review will be conducted in July next year.
Low levels of awareness by the public on sustainable development goals has been cited as one of the major challenges affecting the achievement of the goals. Speaking at a consultative workshop for stakeholders in Bulawayo this Tuesday, the Deputy Director for Sustainable Development Goals, Ms. Silosius Chaturuka, relayed that inclusion of SDGs in the education curriculum would go a long way in spreading awareness about the goals.
We are going to be proposing that maybe it should be part of the curriculum, so that as people are in schools, as people are even in their tertiary education, it has to be part of the curriculum so that they know how they aid to the implementation of the SDGs. Because these are the people who are affected by the SDGs, but if they don't know how they are contributing either to the achievement of the SDGs or to the challenges that are affecting the SDGs, it becomes a challenge.
Representing the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honourable July Moyo, Bulawayo Provincial Social Development Officer, Ms. Energy Mlambo, reiterated that the consultative meetings being done were to ensure that the voluntary national review leaves no one and no place behind.
In line with the country's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind, the government is conducting consultations in all the 10 provinces of Zimbabwe, and today marks the second provincial consultations. This is being done to ensure that the voices of people in all areas of the country are reflected in the Volunteer National Reports.
Zimbabwe is working tirelessly towards the successful implementation of all the 17 sustainable goals through the National Development Strategy 1, in line with the country's vision of attaining an upper middle income society by 2030. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Depression has been identified as the leading cause of suicide among men, according to latest research on the mental health status of men.
A recent study on men's mental health in the country has noted that depression among men leads to suicide. Experts also revealed that most men put on a brave face despite the difficulties they encounter, leading to mental health challenges which may result in suicide.
That study demonstrated that 3/4 of those men were employed, and the other quarter were self-employed. And when asked how their mental wellness was, they all responded saying that they were depressed. And based on that is why we decided to do a documentary to address these issues, because the way that we address these issues is by talking about it and putting it in the public eye. And once it's in the public eye, it creates a pathway for people to be able to talk about it. Because what we've also discovered is that people who carry on these responsibilities, these men who carry on these responsibilities, put on a brave face. But as they put on this brave face, they struggle on the inside, and as a result, they end up ending their own lives.
With research also showing that men are more affected by mental health issues than women, offering support and raising awareness has become imperative.
We're not surprised at the findings of this study because we've always known that men are affected more by mental health issues than women, especially when it comes to taking their own lives. So what we are hoping to do as an organization is to make a lot more help available, have more awareness of our existence so that men will reach out when they do need help.
Globally, more than twice as many males die due to suicide than females. Zimbabwe's suicide rate for 2019 stood at 14.10% per 100,000 people.
And that's it for myself, Marilyn Gwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. It's back to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare for more news, and Natasha is on standby. Natasha, it's back to you.
Thank you, Marilyn, and the team from that end. The 10th High-Level African Union Seminar on Promotion of Peace and Security ended this Monday in Algeria, with governments being challenged to protect AU guidelines and take peacekeeping missions.
The two-day seminar on peace and security for Africa saw discussions centering on the role of Africa on the United Nations Security Council and strategies for conflict resolution in Africa, among others. Members expressed commitment to the cause for peace.
We worked on improving and enhancing the mechanisms for coordination with all African Union organs. On their top, the AU Peace and Security Council, in order to have common position and to defend the issues of the African continent.
We are committed to the vision expressed by the leaders of our union. But we are also very ambitious, very aspirational in making sure we get Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Globally accepted, globally supported, but within the will of our member states. We have engaged on a social reflection after 10 years of this process. Coordination, coherence, consultation, communication really matter.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Ambassador Frederick Shaga, who represented Zimbabwe, spoke on the importance of promoting and taking control of peace initiatives on the continent.
I underlined the importance of ensuring that African common positions are respected, namely the principles of the AU ownership and leadership, as well as the command and control of all peace support operations on the African continent. I also reiterated the need to ensure that the primacy of the United Nations Security Council in maintaining international peace and security is demonstrated by ensuring the predictable and sustainable funding of peace support operations.
The high-level seminar brought together current and incoming elected African Union member states on the UN Security Council, the AU Commission, and comes at a time some African nations have been rocked by instability as a result of insurgencies.
As the Democratic Republic of Congo goes to the polls on Wednesday, incumbent President Dr. Felix Tshisekedi has pledged to protect people in the eastern region from recurrent insurgencies while pushing for sustained economic growth.
A day before the vast southern African nation holds elections, campaign rallies have ended and it's all systems go for eligible voters to cast their ballots. While engaging party supporters at the last rally in the capital this Monday, Dr. Tshisekedi promised to bring insurgency in the east to an end as pressure mounts between Kinshasa and Kigali.
If you renew your confidence in me and if Rwanda continues its desire to the east of our territory, I will bring together the two houses of parliament in Congress so that I am authorized to declare war on them. And we will go to Kigali, tell Kagame that he used to have fun with the former leaders of the DRC. The DRC has changed. I will respond to any provocation.
DRC Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, Mr. Jean-Pierre Bemba, weighed in saying an end to conflict in the East will ensure national development. He also applauded regional support to bring about peace.
SADC has already an experience in this country in 2013, 2014. And we, of course, welcome the troop of South Africa, Tanzania, and Malawi troop. Welcome them for the assistance they're giving to Congolese army, FARDC, to, of course, to try to neutralize all this terrorism force. To really appreciate the solidarity of SADC. And I'm sure that will make the difference also in the ground.
The people of the DRC will vote for a new president and National Assembly members this Wednesday. Over 20 candidates will battle it out in the presidential race, with 500 National Assembly seats up for grabs across the 26 provinces of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Oline Ndori, ZBC News, Kinshasa.
The main news takes a break and returns with business news. Stay with us.
What can I get madam for Christmas this year? Oh, the budgets are not balanced.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
This holiday season, DSTV's got so much great entertainment. You, your family, and your guests will be spoiled for choice.
Always a tremendous atmosphere here. The treble winners are back.
Shoots and score. This is outstanding.
Celebrate Zimbabwean cuisine.
This is good now.
It doesn't matter who you're hosting.
We're family, and we can conquer anything.
We've got unbeatable shows for the whole neighborhood to choose from.
They just got better.
We're more than glad running so.
We're actually great. We're really great. I can have my happily ever after.
Just a lot, all the time.
We're all about giving you entertainment of your choice and options that suit your family. So stay connected to DSTV for the happiest holidays yet. DSTV, it's your moment.
I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care if they know the truth about how much I care for you. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
Show some love to your fabrics with Boom Bubble Plus washing powder with powerful dirt-fighting enzymes and special color protection, whiter whites and brighter colors. Boom, and the dirt is gone.
Mama, today I'm about to embark on the next chapter of my life. You've been by my side every step of the way. Through the late nights and endless studying, you always believed in my dreams. And as I start my new journey and my new career, I want to thank you for helping me make the right choice. To the women who never gave up on me, thank you, Mom. Merry Christmas.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Welcome back to our business update. The implementation of the Open Skies policy by the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe has been instrumental in attracting more airlines into the country's airspace.
The Open Skies policy seeks to increase domestic flight capacity by harnessing intracontinental flights through unrestricted access into the country's airspace by peer aviation regulators. This is done by way of agreements between civil aviation regulators of different countries in Africa. The Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe, CAS, says it is working with several countries towards promoting the policy.
Zimbabwe, where the country is ready and already implementing Open Skies. Now this is coming from the government's mantra to say Zimbabwe is open for business, which we always hear from His Excellency President Dr. Idi Mnangagwa. Now we are also saying through our ministry, our skies are open for airlines. And in Zimbabwe, we are among those countries, the first countries to open its skies in accordance with the African Union Agenda 2063.
The COVID-19 pandemic caused disruptions to air travel in a sector that was already facing high operational costs, but the local industry has witnessed a sustained comeback, with many airlines having relaunched several routes from Zimbabwe.
Since the AU is also promoting the African Free Trade Area, we want to facilitate the movement of goods, people with very limited impediments. So specifically on Open Skies, we have an instrument by the African Union called the African Single African Air Transport Market, where we allow any operator that is safe and secure. In other words, that conduct operations safely and secure, that they are free to come into the country as many times as they wish.
Over 10 new routes have been launched this year alone by different regional and continental airlines, including the Harare-Lusaka route by Zambian Airways, which last applied the route 27 years ago. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Now let's take a look at the arts. 22-year-old beauty queen Courtney Jongwe is flying the country's flag high at the Miss Earth contest, currently underway in Vietnam.
Jongwe is proving a pageantry medal at the Miss Earth contest underway in Vietnam after dominating various competitions of the pageant. Jongwe is among the top contenders at the pageant after she landed in top 8 of the Best Bikini contest, which was based on social media votes. Miss Earth Philippines was, however, announced winner of the Best Bikini competition after attracting more votes. The Zimbabwean queen still has a chance to qualify for the semi-finals if she wins the Miss People's Choice contest, which is also based on Facebook votes. Zimbabweans are encouraged to vote to boost Jongwe's chances of qualifying for the semi-finals set for this Friday. As of Monday afternoon, Jongwe was ranked 7th in the Miss People's Choice contest, according to statistics posted on the pageant official page. She is contesting for the coveted crown against more than 80 beauty queens from around the globe. Countries participating include Paraguay, Belgium, Venezuela, Mongolia, Vietnam, France, Zambia, South Africa, Nigeria, South Sudan, and Zimbabwe. Patience Nyagato, SABC News, Harare.
We're off to a break and return with sports news.
The Commissioner of Domestic Taxes hereby advises all valid taxpayers that migration of tax data from SAP TRM into the new tax and revenue management system has been completed, and TOMS is now live. TOMS brings you access 6 additional functionalities apart from the 2 already rolled out modules with effect from the 5th of December 2023 as follows: Tax Return Management, Payment Management, Revenue Accounting, Taxpayer Accounting, Debt Management, and Refund Management. Submission of tax returns, payment of domestic taxes, debt management, refund processing, and accessing tax statements, among other functionalities, can now be done in TOMS with immediate effect. Zimra would like to appreciate all taxpayers, stakeholders, and the public for their cooperation and patience with the authority during this transition period. All taxpayers are encouraged to contact their nearest Zimra offices should they face challenges with TOMS, or get in touch with Zimra Contact Center on the details provided below. Zimra, my taxes, my duties, building my Zimbabwe.
ZBC Current Affairs, leading the conversation on local, regional, and international news. We bring you the stories that shape the nation and the world, be it social trends, economic and political developments, State of the Nation addresses, independence celebrations, Heroes and Defense Forces Day commemorations, and other national events. We bring them to you as they happen. With an array of informative programming, we bring you face-to-face with the decision makers as we unpack complex issues, giving you a platform to be part of the conversation. You can choose to face the nation and combat crime while talking farming. But remember to keep your vision 2030 with ZBC Current Affairs. Together, Sonke, Tese, we will track and implement NDS1 to realize a better Zimbabwe.
Welcome back to our sports update. Highlanders are set to go for another rebuilding exercise with a player mass exodus looming at the Bulawayo Giants over contractual disputes.
Highlanders' woes are far from being over after the club parted ways with coach Baltema Brito. The club is on the verge of losing several key players. The departed Brito on many occasions claimed that the executive was letting the team down as they did not sign the players he wanted and was failing to turn down key players. New coach Kelvin Kind might be faced with the same predicament, with a difficult phase that entails rebuilding. Dependable defender Mbongeni Ndlovu, who has a contract running out at the end of this month, has reportedly opted not to re-sign with the Bulawayo Giants and might be headed to FC Platinum. The player intermediary confirmed the uncertainty of the player at Highlanders, and he is still owed signing on fees from the previous contract. ZBC News is reliably informed that Mbola, as Mbongeni Ndlovu is affectionately known, bade farewell to the interim technical team. Highlanders had a solid defense that was admired in the league, but that might be torn apart as rock-solid defender and Mbongeni's partner Peter Mutwa has attracted interest of most of the top clubs in the country. Dynamos and Ngezi Platinum Stars, who are going into the African safari, are all believed to be angling for the defender, while Cape United are known admirers of the player. Another defender, utility man Andrew Mbeva, is also a wanted man with his contract also running out at the end of the year. Highlanders were coy about the player exodus, although indications are that a number of players, including defender Andrew Chandi, winger Ray Lunga, and utility player Raman Kutsanzira, are some of the players who have their contracts running out on the 31st of December. Former Highlanders Real Stars and Shabani Mine player Colin Yambia implored Highlanders to be professional in negotiating contracts.
We understand contracts. A player is deemed free agent when 6 months out of from his end of the date of his contract. Say his contract ends in December 31. In June, clubs should already speak to their players for their future. You know, these are players and their career is a short career. You know, you cannot wait until the last day to be told you're not going to be registered for the next season.
Exodus has been the norm at the Bulawayo Giants, resulting in the technical team shouldering the blame for poor results in a team which lacks continuity. Mthokozi Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government is set to incentivize corporates that support sport through the introduction of tax breaks.
The sports sector has been crying out for corporate support, and government is moving in to ensure corporates that support sport are incentivized. Through the Sports and Recreation Commission, SRC, government is working on a policy to offer tax breaks to companies that complement its efforts in funding sport. This was reviewed by SRC Chairperson Gerald Mlochwa in an interview with ZBC News recently.
We will complement it as the SRC by ensuring that the legislative framework is there to give those incentive tax breaks and other financial incentives to corporates to invest into what? Into our sports infrastructure. And you'll hear a lot more of those announcements insofar as the legislative aspects are concerned within the first quarter of next year.
The policy is expected to be rolled out early next year. Lawrence Truseda, ZBC News, Harare.
The country's junior golfers put up an impressive show during the NCBA Kenya Invitational Junior Tournament, which was played out at the Windsor Country Club in Nairobi over the weekend.
Zimbabwe's Tawana Ashley secured the championship title in the under 15 to 18 boys with an impressive score of 6 under par 222, made up of rounds of 70, 78 and 74. The silver medal went to Tawana Mangoma, also of Zimbabwe, who finished with a total of 17 over par, while Kenya's Kevin Ayman finished third. There was more success for Zimbabwe in the boys' 12 years division, which was won by Munesu Chimini after beating Austrian Sean Wider in the playoff. In the girls section, Miriam Masia claimed the title in the 13 to 14 years category, while Kenya's Audrey Gakocha secured second spot. Organized by the US Kids Golf in collaboration with the Junior Golf Foundation of Kenya, the inaugural edition of the high-profile tournament featured over 120 junior golfers from Kenya and various other parts of the world, including Argentina, Austria, Belgium, China, Ghana, India, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. Lawrence Tusira, ZBC News, Harare.
The weather report and forecast up next.
Thank you for joining us. It is time to check your weather details. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. Well, thunderstorm activity continues across the country, and we start by looking at some of the highest falls in the last 24 hours. Buhera had 32 millimeters, Kutsaga in Harare 25 millimeters, Gots Observatory in Bulawayo had 20 millimeters. And of course, there's many other areas not captured there that had falls of below 20 millimeters. In the satellite images received this afternoon, they show that massive cloud covering the whole country, which gave you the partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, as well as the rainfall activity in some parts of the country this afternoon. Tomorrow, We expect areas to the north that include Matabeleland North, northern parts of the Midlands. All Mashonaland provinces, including Harare and Manicaland, should be partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms, while the remainder of the country, that is Matabeleland South, Bulawayo Metropolitan, southern parts of the Midlands and Masvingo, should be partly cloudy with light showers in places that may be thundery. Well, for the temperature Celsius, Gweru 19 and Masvingo 21 minimum, Marondera 16 and 30, Gwanda 22 and 32 degrees Celsius, Victoria Falls 28 first, 34 maximum. Kariba 25 and 36, Great Zimbabwe, the ancient city 21 and 29, 16 and 23 at Nyangamatopos 21 and 30, 20 and 29 is expected at Chimanimani. Day after tomorrow, that is on Thursday rather, we expect areas to the north again, especially the northern parts of the Midlands, Mashonaland provinces, as well as Manicaland. Harare also included there, should be partly cloudy with isolated showers that may be thundery in places. While areas to the south, Matabeleland South, southern parts of the Midlands, Masvingo, as well as southern parts of Manicaland should be partly cloudy, should be mild at first, becoming warm to hot by afternoon. That does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report and Forecast. Let's make a date again tomorrow. It's back to the main desk.
Let's take a look at stories that we covered earlier on in the bulletin.
Hive of activity at Mbare as many troop to their rural homes for the holidays. Wholesalers and retailers have assured product availability during the festive season.
And in other news, rapist dads get lengthy jail terms. Magistrates in 2 cases cited the prevalence of such cases, hence deterrent sentences.
And in sport, Highlanders' new coach, Calvin, set to start from scratch as player exodus looms at the club.